The second I placed my feet on the ground, I felt everything freeze. I hadn't had a good look around me, due to being so groggy. I blinked a few times before my heart sank. The floor, it wasn't carpet. It was tile. It was tile, just like in the nightmare. I froze, and for a second it felt like I was only touching the cold floor. I let out the tiniest sigh before I stood up. I managed to be stood probably for a second, until I jolted backwards onto my bed. I looked at my feet. Shards of glass were lodged into my right foot. I mean, my left one was completely fine, but I grimaced and spent a while pulling whatever was in my foot out. I looked at my shredded foot and for some reason looked over the bed to see if there was anything that the glass was. When I looked at the floor, I could see the base of a light bulb. I wanted to just scream and try and find out what the hell was going on in this place, but I just shook my head. I stood up. The pain in my foot was almost unbearable. I took a step, and between slipping over on the tile and just stumbling out of pure agony, I must have become quite acquainted with the floor, if I do say so myself. I finally made it to the door and walked through it to find carpet. It stung quite a bit when I felt it against the soldier that was my foot. Turning to look back inside the room, preparing to close the door, I made my third mistake. I saw the shower heads, or what must have been them. They didn't look so much like shower heads this time. They looked more like gas taps. I mean, they must have been white under that red coating of rust. I felt myself shaking. I don't even know why. All I could imagine was slipping and getting a bit too intimate with one of these things. Slamming the door shut, I let out a sigh. I looked at the spare room opposite mine. Now this was where I'd keep anything like clothes or books or stuff like that. Living alone in a rather big house definitely had its charm. I limped in there and found another white room. But this time there was a large pool table in the middle of the room. Laid out on it were some plasters, a pair of slippers and a black dressing gown. By this point I was well aware that whatever this place was, it wasn't my house, and I probably wasn't alone. But I was at least glad that this room didn't have spikes sticking out of the floor or axes swinging down from the walls. I quickly picked up the plasters and put them on my foot, feeling relief for once since fully waking up. I slipped into the gown and put on the slippers. I noticed a few words on the pool table, but there were only two. It just said, "Relax downstairs." So I decided, why the hell not? I needed some relaxation, so I made my way down the staircase. But for some reason this staircase was a spiral staircase. I hated those things. I think this staircase was there because I hated it, but that's beside the point. I came downstairs to a warm living room, a carpet with a fireplace, a TV, a recliner, and a sofa. There were bookcases along the walls. Finally, I decided to sit down in the recliner and enjoy some TV. I was reveling in the thought of just relaxing for a day. But that's when I saw it. I didn't see it until I sat down. So, if he was there for the whole time, I wouldn't know. Anyway, it was a mannequin. It was in a suit, a purple jacket neatly buttoned over a royal blue turtleneck, black trousers draped over its legs and ended up just above its impeccably shiny shoes. Its black leather gloves resting on its hands so softly without a single crease, smoother than I thought leather could ever look. It all seemed fairly normal, well, somewhat pleasant, until you saw the head. Over the head was a burlap sack with stitch-on baby blue buttons for eyes, little pink rosy cheeks. Oh, and a jagged jack-o'-lantern smile that said, "Hello, friend. I've just made your parents' soup. I hope you won't miss them too much." In its hand I saw a white card. I sighed as I stood, and I took it from its hand. All it said was, "Hello." I chuckled and replied with a little, "Hi," before placing the card back in the purple pocket of his jacket. That was my fourth, and possibly my biggest, mistake.